Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and happy Friday evening, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. It is October 23rd, 2020. We have a lot of news to get to this Friday evening, so let's get started. First up, let's begin with your COVID-19 updates. Coronavirus in New Hampshire, important information and latest graphs. Let's take a look at that right now. And here is a look at that for all of you right now. There are 9,994 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 8,386,634 number of people in the United States have tested positive. 470 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 765 number of people have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 766 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. And let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where current cases of COVID-19 are. In Nashua, 64. Let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where total cases of COVID-19 are. In Nashua, 1130. And now let's take a look at these three charts here. Let's start with the first chart here. New cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple. Daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. Sorry about that. We clicked on the wrong one. Sorry about that. Let's start with this chart right here. New cases each day in New Hampshire. Sorry, we were reading the wrong chart and I did not notice. Sorry about that one. Daily new positive COVID-19 cases in the purple. New hospitalizations in the orange and red deaths. Now let's take a look at this chart here. Current cases in the purple. Total current COVID-19 cases. And in the orange, current hospitalizations. And let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases in the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalization, red deaths, and blue recovered. And sorry about that mistake, everyone. And now let's take a look at this chart here. Positive PCR test rate and daily PCR tests. And now let's take a look at this chart here. Age group of cases, female and male of cases, and risk information. And let's take a look at this chart here. Infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. And let's take a look at this chart here. Deaths, percent of New Hampshire population, race/ethnicity of cases, and hospitalizations. And a reminder of your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, difficult breathing, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Granite Staters urge to turn in unused, unwanted prescription drugs. National Drug Take-Back Day planned after April's event canceled. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
Upgrade program is going on now at Holloway Cadillac, and it's the perfect time to...
This is really a critical take-back for us.
After the pandemic forced the cancellation of April's planned event, Drug Take-Back Day will take place on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
In 4 hours, we average between 12 and 15,000 pounds of unwanted, unused, or expired medications, just in New Hampshire alone.
It's a benchmark the DEA is hoping to reach again.
It's obviously challenging because of everything that we're dealing with COVID.
With more people spending time at home these days, this event takes on added importance.
We know that sometimes people experiment with medication that they find in their homes, particularly children. So that's one big reason why we have to get that stuff out of the homes.
And your privacy is guaranteed.
This is truly a no questions asked event. You drive up, you walk up, you drop that stuff into a box, nobody looks through it, it gets secured and it gets incinerated.
They are not, however, accepting syringes or voluminous liquids, But for the first time this year, they are accepting vaping devices and their cartridges.
We ask if you can, take the battery out of the device. If you can't figure out how to do that, we'll have somebody help you do that.
There are over 120 locations in the state where you can drop off the drugs. You'll find a complete list by going to our website, WMUR.com. In Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire officials warn of fraudulent unemployment claims being filed. Authorities say Granite Staters should take steps to protect themselves. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
In times like these, we're all spending more time with family and more time working our life.
We do have a warning this morning from state officials about unemployment fraud schemes. Officials say more than 6,000 claims have been fraudulently filed using stolen identities. They say that some scammers are accessing unemployment accounts to change bank account information and mailing addresses to divert benefits. To protect yourself, authorities say you need to check your account regularly, and remember that the state will never ask for credit card information, usernames, or passwords.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man who taught classes at SNHU faces charges related to child sex abuse images. Joshua Del Rey, accused of possessing, distributing images. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Bentley Chevrolet says now is the time to make it your own during Chevy Truck Month. Buy a new 2020 Chevy Equinox all-wheel drive SUV, just $22,184.
SNHU confirms a Manchester man accused of possessing and distributing child sex abuse images taught a class at the school this semester. Police say 37-year-old Joshua DeLaire has been under investigation for 6 weeks after authorities received a tip about an image on a messaging app. Investigators traced the IP address to DeLaire's Pine Street address, where they say they found multiple images and videos on his cell phone. In a statement, SNHU says since learning of his arrest, we launched an immediate investigation, and he was removed from the course.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Deputy Secretary of State advised Granite Staters to return absentee ballots as soon as possible. Previous record for absentee ballots cast already shattered. Let's take a listen to that video right now from WMUR News 9.
For the easy and the complex, the small stuff and the big, we're here with the affordable local loans, easy to manage accounts, and financial advice to help you blaze a trail, figure stuff out, and make your money go farther. We're Granite State Credit Union. Live bold.
Welcome back to Close Up. Usually in these final days before an election, we like to say the voting starts in just 48 hours or something like that. But this time around, due to expanded pandemic absentee provisions, the voting started weeks ago. But there are still crucial tests for this system ahead. Let's bring in Deputy Secretary of State David M. Scanlon once again to get some crucial information out there to the public. Good morning, Deputy Secretary.
Good morning, Ad.
So it's Sunday morning. If I'm still in possession of an absentee ballot right now and I want to cast it, what should I do?
Well, the post office is closed today. Tomorrow is a holiday, so they're going to be closed on Monday as well. The option that a voter has at this point to make sure that their ballot makes it to the clerk and to the polling place so that it gets counted on Tuesday.
Okay, if you want to watch that full video, we will share a link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page right after this broadcast. Voters are casting collecting ballots in record numbers ahead of the November 3rd election. But the Secretary of State's office says time is running short for those who want to send in their ballots by mail. Deputy Secretary of State David Scanlon said Friday his office officially cautions that 14 days should be allowed to make sure the absentee ballots arrive on time through the mail, which would mean that ballots now should be hand-delivered. My experience is that the mail is moving faster than that, he said. But I'd say if you get within a week of the election, you might want to consider dropping it off in person at the clerk's office, Scanlon said. Scanlon said officials of the U.S. Postal Service have told him that they intend to take special measures to make sure that any ballots that are in transit as we get closer to election will be delivered on time. People can request an absentee ballot until 5 p.m. the day before the election, Scanlon said. The important thing is that if they know they are going to vote absentee, they should get them in as quickly as they can. If they intend to return the ballots by mail, they should get them in the mail right away. Ballots must be received by the local election official by 5 p.m. on Election Day, November 3rd, in order to be counted. People can drop off their absentee ballots at their city or town clerk's office until Election Day, Scanlon said. On Election Day, the ballots must still be delivered to the clerks, but Scanlon said that on that day, a clerk may be at his or her office or may be at the polling place. Scanlon suggested people check in advance with their clerk's office to ensure that those who wait until Election Day properly deliver their ballots to the right place. Due to COVID-19 pandemic earlier this year, the requirements for voting absentee were relaxed by state officials to allow people to cite a health concern about the virus as an acceptable reason to vote absentee. The change prompted a huge increase in the number of absentee ballots cast in the state primary election on September 8th, and the same is happening in the upcoming general election. According to the Secretary of State's office, as of Tuesday of this week, 200,834 requests for absentee ballots had been made to city and town clerks, and 136,137 ballots have been returned and completed. The number of returned ballots is by far a record. The previous high came in 2016 general election, when 75,305 absentee ballots were cast. That was nearly 10% of the 755,850 total votes cast in that election. In the September primary this year, about 30% of the total votes cast were by absentee ballot. Scanlon said the trend for the general election appears to be minoring the primary, and he expects about 30% of the ballots cast to be absentee. He said his office is not yet ready to predict the total turnout for November 3rd. There are now about 1 million registered voters in the state, according to the latest registration numbers reported by the Secretary of State's office this week. Scanlon said no major problems are expected in the absentee voting process or in-person voting process. At the polling places, Scanlon said the lines may look longer because of social distancing, but we expect that they will move just as fast as any normal election. There may be minor delays, but we expect things to move along, and we don't expect that people will have to stand in line for hours, such as we're seeing in other parts of the country. To move the process more quickly, clerks can open the outer envelopes of the absentee ballots and begin pre-processing beginning next Thursday, as well as on Friday and the following Monday. In the past, pre-processing could not begin until the day of Election Day, Scanlon said. And that is it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching this evening edition. Have a great rest of your Friday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and goodbye, everyone.